CBN. Today is a beautiful day. We're in Mornington Golf Course and we are at the Power Your Business event. It is amazing. We've had one presenter already. His name is Elliot, and Elliot is sitting in the middle. But before we get to Elliot, I just wanted to share with all of you that you are watching CBN Live, and we are about inspiring, educating, entertaining, and informing our local business community. Now, today, I learned the most powerful thing about sales. And sales is so important that if you own a business out there and you're not making sales, well, you don't have a business. And this is where I wanted Elliot. Hi, Elliot. Welcome to the show.
Good to see you.
So tell us, Elliot, you've just done a powerful presentation about 10 minutes back. Can you give our viewers out there that own businesses a couple of tips and strategies?
Yeah, sure. So sales has changed a lot over the years. I mean, there's not many of you using technology that would be 40 years old, which is the majority of a lot of sales approaches out there. And the fact is that no one wants your canned responses anymore. No one wants your standard presentations or the rapport that you build by talking about the weather or talking about the shop up the road. The key thing people want now is authenticity. And authenticity comes from you having researched their business, number one, knowing who they are, looking them up on social media, and then in addition to that, asking lots and lots of questions about them rather than looking for an opportunity or what was called a buying signal in the past to uncover what it is that you want to sell. So rather than pitching and selling and steering the conversation towards what you want them to buy, go and find out what they want to buy. And then if you do that with the right technique and the right approach, all of a sudden the opportunities increase.
Well, you spoke about a very powerful tactic in your presentation about haircuts and that, and that was really quite inspiring. Would you like to tell our viewers just a little bit about that haircut scenario?
Yeah, sure. So the scenario is that many of you will pay very, very different prices for a haircut. So some of you might spend 25, some of the people who are balding might spend nothing or do it themselves. Some might spend 50 or 75. Some girls, for example, do a colour and cut and spend $180, $200, $250 on a haircut. So the key point is that everyone is different, and if there are opportunities with clients, the worst thing you can do is go and say, well, the last 3 clients bought $25 haircuts, so I'll keep pitching that. And you're leaving money on the table for someone who's potentially going to buy a $50 or $70 haircut. And conversely, you've got people who are willing to spend $250 haircuts. We sell them the equivalent of a $100 haircut, and we think we've done a good job and we've left money on the table. The whole reason this happens is simply because we're pitching what we want them to buy, what we think they should buy. And it's all about us. And it's all about what we think is the right solution for them at this particular time, or because it's where we get paid or where we get commission. And the key to this is actually removing ourselves from the whole equation. We're not that important. The most important people in the room are the clients. If you find out what they want and how they want to buy it, you'll make a decision about whether you want to deal with them or not, and whether they've got the money and the budget to pay for it or not. But it's all about them.
Well, Elliot, can you share with us, we've got businesses out there. I have a startup, people out there have startups, and they're struggling with sales. What suggestion could you give them, Elliot?
Okay. The first thing I would say is take the pressure off yourself. There's far too much pressure on people to push and sell. So what happens if you're under pressure to get numbers, to get figures, to get sales in the door, what tends to happen is you take that into your meetings. You can't avoid it, and the client will sense your desperation or your urgency, or you'll cut them off, or they'll sense that you're pushing 2 products instead of 1 because you're desperate for sales. The first thing you've got to do is back yourself, that you know your product, you know your business, and your job is there to basically to be a doctor and diagnose, not to be someone flogging something. So if you're diagnosing someone's business issue, then you're sitting there going, so tell me where it hurts. Tell me more about what happened before it started hurting. help me examine you and see whether or not we can help or not, rather than that pushy approach, which simply doesn't work anymore. And in fact, will only end up with you selling less, not more.
Well, that was great, Elliot. Elliot, what do you see the future in sales, especially with online now, social media? It's a totally different, league at the moment. So a lot of business owners and that are using social media to pump through sales. Can you take us through a journey of what you think is going to be happening in the future with sales?
In the time frame we have, I'll do it briefly. Effectively, there are a couple of key changes. Yes, anything that is commoditized, anything that doesn't add value will be sent to a commodity market where robotics will potentially take over, where there won't be jobs for people just doing commodity selling. It'll be taken over by technology. Where the opportunity lies is where you are the diagnostician, where you are solving people's problems. And if you're solving people's problems deeply and honestly and authentically, there'll always be a job for you, because you'll be able to relate that to the client really, really well. So the key is keep researching, keep adding to your own education, keep ensuring that you're atop of what's happening in industry trends, and make sure that you've got something valuable to add rather than just a general conversation and a bit of product knowledge, so that when the clients see that, then that value shines through.
Well, thank you, Elliot. Cameron, do you have any questions that you would love to ask Elliot?
Absolutely. Thanks so much for being on the show today, and spending your most precious time to come to the show. I know you got a lot of important things to do, and there's many things that you have to share with your customers and client. I guess for us and our small businesses that wants to know is that the key trend happening right now is what? Because we looked at the sales techniques. There's so many ways that we are using sales right now. There's door to door. There's cold calling, and social media is coming on, and then there's a presentation that business do. Which one is the most effective, and where's the trend heading towards in the future?
It totally depends on the market. There is no one size fits all, but I can share with you that in some markets in Australia, for example, door to door has been banned. It's been legally banned. So there are regulations that are probably only going to increase in banning more and more door-to-door selling. I don't know about the rest of the world, but that's certainly a trend here. Online selling is going to increase, video, meetings, live experiences, all of that is... Well, it's true. And live experiences are going to increase. Customers getting together with prospects and workshopping, collaborations are going to increase. All those things are going to change the way people engage.
Wow.
Yeah, and what about cold calling? Is that still...
There's a debate on LinkedIn just about every 3 minutes on whether cold calling is good or bad. It depends on the industry and it depends on the product. If you do it well, there's still a place for cold calling, absolutely. But you've got to compare that with other alternatives and see whether it's the right fit or not.
Thanks for sharing that valuable information. Okay, just one more final question for me, and then we'll pass on to Nicole. I use a lot of business and myself use social media now, and the most active one that I'm using is Facebook. Okay, and the reason why I use that because the amount of traffic, the amount of engagement is there instantly. So for you, which social media platform is active for you that you use a lot, and why is it for you? 'Cause I'm sure a lot of business want to know.
Yeah, so as a pitch consultant and sales trainer and coach, LinkedIn is number one. I'm not on Facebook, I'm sorry. No. There is a Facebook page, but it's got very little on it. So LinkedIn is number one. I have thousands of followers of my blog on LinkedIn. It's an easy place to connect, share information. So that's number one for business, yeah.
Thanks so much, Elliot, for sharing that. I think LinkedIn is another platform that is most effective for a lot of professional, and also, you probably get sales from there as well. You get leads, you get business from there as well. So, all right, I'll pass you on to Nicole, and maybe she got some more exciting question, especially the book's coming.
Elliot, look at this. I've got everyone Confessions of a Pitch
Consultant.
Now, Elliot, would you like to tell our viewers a little bit about that book and possibly how they could actually get their hands on it?
Yeah, sure. So very briefly, Confessions of a Pitch Consultant was written with a sense of humour and with key insights into what it takes to win business based on 20 years of experience. So if you like good stories, not just the boring frameworks, there are no boring frameworks in this. These are genuine stories of real situations with a sense of humour around what it takes to win large-scale business and B2B business, and anywhere where you're competing in a competitive market. So if you go to salientcommunication.com.au, you'll see a link on there, and you can check out the book or get it on Amazon on Kindle.
Wow. So you said that you had the LinkedIn profile. If people want to follow you and stalk you, as they say, to be polite, how can they find you?
Yeah, no stalkers, please. Just look up Elliot Epstein on LinkedIn and send me a connection and we'll go from there.
So there you go, everybody. If you've got any questions, please do put them below, and Elliot will come, during the day, and he'll answer them. Elliot, I want to thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks, Nicole. Thanks, Cameron.
Thanks, Neil, for being on the show. And before we go, we'll definitely put a link on our description as well, so our viewers can click on it and go straight to your social media, LinkedIn. Okay, so before we go, I think it's important to summarize our viewers. I guess what is the three, I think, most important things in sales. And for me, I follow the 5-step to sales success. Which is a short intro, a short story, tell a short story, and then a bit about the product and so on, and get the product into their hand, get them feel it, and then you want to close it and then rehash. So in this case, can you give us some tips about getting that sales success, getting that close deal? Because a lot of people don't know how to close a deal.
If you've done all the right things and you've diagnosed the issue, if you've followed up, if you've put forward a proposal that is in their best interest, not yours, all you need to do is ask for it.
Wow.
Yeah. It seems so simple. So, do you actually give any courses or programs for people, business owners?
Yeah, we just run them, and the dates will be on the website shortly. But there are no dates currently. Just too busy doing other things. But there will be a public program coming up in Melbourne or Sydney. Yes.
Yeah, that's excellent. So even if you're an event host there and you want to have Elliot come and present, please, you can contact him. Elliot was today at the Power Your Business event. We're at Mornington Golf Course. Yeah, beautiful day.
Yeah.
So, if you want a really powerful person to come and speak about sales at your event, please contact Elliot. Well, I want to thank you again. Stay tuned because we've got some more great business leaders happening on the show today. So bye for now.
Hi everyone, welcome. Okay, so we're actually live, and it's such an amazing day today. What a beautiful day, guys.
It's stunning.
Yeah,
it's awesome.
Look
especially we're at this Mornington Golf Course and we're attending a Power Your Business event, and it's just amazing so far, Cameron.
And with Ash today, known as the cold calling queen.
Yeah.
And we're going to find out a bit more about how successful a business is and how a lot of other businesses can get involved and learn some more amazing tips from Ash.
Yeah.
I think let's get started.
Yeah.
So Ash,
Fabulous.
welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for having me.
So share with us a bit about your background before we go into how cold calling works and what it can do for other business out there.
Excellent. So I've been a professional cold caller for 14 years now, and it's one of those techniques or art forms, I guess I should say, that a lot of people avoid, but I found quite quickly on in my career that I really loved doing it. I think that it's the fact that I love turning a no into a yes, or I love having to build rapport with someone quite quickly over the phone. People call me insane because I still still love it 14 years down the track. I know, and I started the business, the Promo Donna, which is my lead generation company, 7 years ago now, because I saw that there was a gap in the market and that a lot of business owners were saying, look, I'd love to do what you do, but I can't, so can you do it for me? So that's what inspired it.
A lot of business find it hard to cold call, and I'm sure you're the expert in that industry, in that field. There's a lot that you can help those business out there.
Yes.
And from your background, your experience, I think it all adds up. And a lot of viewers out there and businesses, like especially myself as well, and are really interested to know about this amazing technique and so on. So cold calling, how did you actually get started, and where's the industry at the moment? Is it
That's a very good question. So firstly, how did I get started? Well, I was actually working for a corporate sales firm down here on the peninsula, actually. So this is where I'm born and bred. And my boss at the time said, look, we need to generate new sales leads. And I said, well, how do you want me to do that? She pointed at the phone and said, go for it. And quite quickly, I found that, I didn't know what I was saying. There were certain things that people were asking me. But then I realized you could develop a script around what you were saying to use as a guide. There were also certain ways that you could build rapport. And again, I just found that I really, really loved it. So that's kind of how I got into or found my niche. Now, you asked or you raised a really good point that I think the industry I'm in, cold calling, telemarketing, lead generation, whatever you want to call it, is definitely changing because of social media and things like that. I think a lot of people now are saying, well, shouldn't I just be online? Why, isn't cold calling dead? But I believe that it is needed more than ever these days, because here's a top tip for all of you. Listen up. Exclusively. So, the other day I was talking to someone, for example, who had just sent out a heap of LinkedIn messages. A lot of people are using LinkedIn, and they said, Ash, I'm sending out all these messages, but no one's getting back to me. I'm trying to pitch my services. The question I asked was, are you picking up the phone to follow up with your prospective clients? They said no, and I said, well, that's why you're not getting results. So that's my tip for you guys, is that yes, online is great, but you can really improve your business and take it to the next level if you actually pick up the phone and follow up with your prospects.
I'm scared. You know how to follow up. So, okay, I think I'll come back to you later. I think Nicole will have some more, question about you, about, cold calling.
Thank you so much. It's really quite nerve-wracking when you have to cold call.
Yes.
And like this cup, some people pick up the phone and they're like so what strategies can you share with them, with our viewers out there, if they have to do a cold call and they're like this? Is it practice? What is it?
Totally. That's a great question. So the thing about when it comes to cold calling, you're right. A lot of people, they fear it because they are really nervous about picking up the phone. They fear that rejection. The number one thing I would recommend is that you put a process in place. And the reason I'm talking about, defining like a cold calling or a prospecting process is because if you have that process in place, you'll know the steps to follow when you're in a conversation. So I guess what I'm getting at is I think the fear comes from people when they don't know what to say. Now, this is something I'm actually speaking on at the summit today. I'm teaching everyone how to define a killer sales process, because I think step by step what you have to do is master your mindset. You have to have a really great pitch. You have to ask some great questions. You have to know how to overcome objections as well and know how to close the sale. And all of that comes back to, as I said, creating a killer sales process.
Wow.
There's so much to learn from you.
We could sit here all day.
Yeah, sit all day. I've got so many questions coming up through my head right now, and thanks so much for putting your valuable time to attend this interview. So the difference between warm calling and cold calling, right? And which one is better, or is it the same? And where's the trend at the moment?
Ooh, Oh, yeah, this is a great question. I would say probably what is trending at the moment is warm calling. The reason I'd say that is because you can maximize, I guess, your success by going online and doing research. So I guess what I'm saying is, in order to warm up your leads before you're calling them, it's as simple as researching them on LinkedIn, or, you know, maybe Googling that company, finding out some information. So then when you pick up the phone and you call them, it's not so much, you know, hi John, you know, I'm calling from XYZ company, and then doing a basic pitch. You could actually say, John, I wanted to reach out today because I saw that you just launched a new program. You know, that's something we can help with. So you really sound knowledgeable. And again, you're warming up those calls. So, yeah.
I think you know both, right? you definitely know warm calling and cold calling. So our viewers out there, those are the tips. So, you know, make sure you do some research first. Make sure you actually, you know, find out a bit more before you get into it. Okay, Nicole, I'll pass it back to you. I think I've got a few more questions, but...
Oh, have you? You've got a lot of questions.
Keep them coming. Keep them coming.
So tell our viewers out there, like, with your business, how do you actually help them? I mean, do you actually coach them? Do you actually have some programs available? What is it that you actually do?
Okay, so we have a range of ways that we help people. Number one would be if, you know, I know a few of you both have mentioned, you know, oh, I don't want to do that because I get nervous. Yeah. And that's the kind of clients we work with. If they are looking to grow their business, they need new sales leads, they would rather outsource it to someone who loves doing it. So we can actually put together a lead generation or a cold calling program for people. And essentially, you know, you would just give us a call, say, you know, they're writing, yes, we'd love to hear from you. If you would rather outsource it and avoid doing it, then we can set up qualified appointments. We can build your sales pipeline with that. But I love that you also brought up coaching, because obviously I'm very passionate about this. I love training people in how to more successfully cold call or prospect or sell. So I do work with a lot of individuals and organizations as well doing that. So
I think Cameron, look at him, he's like a horse ready to get off his chair.
Now, in terms of sales, there's so many ways, okay, to get the sales across to clients and so on, and some techniques and so on. And cold calling is one of them. Yep. Okay, now we have door to door. I used to do door to door, right?
Okay,
that's how I started in sales. I love it. Yep, you know, there's a lot of things, and it's all about numbers. Also, you got the presentation.
Yep.
Okay, what we're doing now, running event presentation.
Yes.
And then you've got the online platform. So which one is better, I think, or a combination?
Yes.
That would you advise, you tips give to our viewers, and maybe attending your events, and by being able to coach your client that are people, business that want to get involved, will give them more confidence on a face-to-face, or which one do you think, or, you know?
Yeah, so I guess you're ultimately asking, what's the best way to generate new business? Is it a combination, or is it just one of those? Now, obviously, I'm going to be biased and say, you know, obviously you have to utilize, you know, cold calling and lead gen. I do believe that a combination is really good, because if a business comes to us, for example, and they say, Ash, we really need some new sales leads, it's kind of alarm bells for me if they don't do anything. If they just say, look, we don't market our business at all, but we'd really like some sales leads, that to me says they haven't really been proactive before, so they could just rely on the calling, whereas I feel like a mixture is the way to take your business to the next level. So as an example, Promodonna, we obviously do cold calling for ourselves, but we also have a great online presence. We do a lot of networking, we do a lot of videos, all of this stuff I think, you know, helps you to generate a lot of leads.
Yeah. I think you were saying before that you are launching a program for women in business. Interesting. So if you're a woman in business watching this, you'd be interested to hear. What plans have you got for that?
Love it. So, and it's interesting actually. I told this to a guy the other week, and he was really offended that I hadn't created the program for guys as well. So, as a bit of insight, the program I've just launched, it's called Sales Sisters. I love a play on words, so a bit like Soul Sisters, Sales Sisters. And what it's all about is teaching women how to more effectively sell, because I think we could all agree women in particular sometimes are very, well, they don't have the confidence to sometimes pitch themselves, even though they've got a great idea or a great business. So I really want to help women to, you know, achieve more sales or
There you
to
go,
just
Cameron.
have
Yep,
more
I'm in.
success and confidence.
That's right.
But that's the thing. So it's Sales Sisters, and the guy I was talking to said, you should make it Sisters and Misters. So, hey, maybe that's what the program will be if I get enough interest from men. So,
Well, that's really, really exciting. I mean, cold calling is important. Lead generation is important, and I guess that there are a lot of viewers out there that have great products and great businesses, but if they can't do any of those, they don't have a business, basically, isn't it?
spot on.
So, Cameron's got one more before we go. Hang on.
Yeah, we've got an event to run, but I think the tips that we need to know is what gets people into cold calling. You know, it's hard. It's really hard, right? People think it's hard, but you make it easy.
Yeah,
Right? So
yeah.
those just those tips, right? Some of the tips where you mentioned script, you mentioned practice and so on.
Yeah.
I know that when I was doing door to door, it's easy for me now, and for you, cold calling is easy. But help those business out there that's going to be viewing this, how easy it can be, especially when they come and see you as well, to get the coaching and all that to build up their confidence.
Yes. Okay. Well, I have another 2 top tips for you then. So you got to listen in intently to give away my secrets. You're right. It can be a lot easier than people think.
Wow.
One of the top things that I'd say is that firstly, you have to get your mindset right, because I think it's like sales, business in general, everything is such a mindset game. So if you're listening right now and you're thinking, look, I don't know if I can do cold calling, I'm a little bit scared. Number one, focus on it being just having a genuine conversation with people. You don't have to pick up the phone and sell to them. You could just have a genuine conversation and a chat and find out if they have a need for your services. The other thing I'm going to say, and this is a top tip that I give away when I do my sales training, is
Only on this show.
this is exclusive. The person who talks the most is losing the sale. So what I'm getting at there is if you pick up the phone and you bombard people with information, you're not going to be able to sell to them. So the key is ask a lot of great questions, and then that should lead you to feeling more confident, because the other person's going to be talking more, and then effectively you might be able to close the sale.
Wow. Can we do a quick sample for our viewers just before we finish? So
How would you do that?
So I'm from CBN. So you're going to call me.
Now, am I calling you as the promo Donna? Is that right, to
yes.
pitch my services?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
great. This is a live cold call. So I'm going to have rung you up. Okay. Hi, this is Ashley from the Promo Donna. I'm just wondering, are you the person that manages sales for CBN?
Yes, I am.
Yes, you are. Okay, fantastic. So you're the business owner, is that correct?
Yes,
or?
I am.
Fantastic. Well, look, the reason I was calling the Promo Donna, we're actually a lead generation company based in Melbourne. So we do cold calling, direct marketing to set up new sales leads for businesses. Tell me, what are the current sales processes that you have in place? How do you currently generate sales for CBN?
We generally do a lot of networking and connecting out there through our online as well. That's basically how we actually do it. We go out at events and we actually network.
Fantastic. Do you ever find yourself thinking, though, I would love more sales leads than what you currently have coming in? Or?
Is that a tricky question? Yes, we do.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Most people I talk to over the phone say, well, how long's a piece of string? I would love a lot more sales leads coming in. And the reason I ask that question is that's what we do. So it's great that you have those online sales methods, but as well as that, we can actually do cold calling to generate new appointments for you to go out to, so you don't have to do all that sales grunt work anymore. It could literally be us calling on the phone as CBN, and we can generate highly qualified appointments for you.
Wow. Well, there you go, folks.
Did I get the sale?
Yes, you saw that live. That was a live coaching call there. I hope you all enjoyed that. That was so simple, wasn't it?
Well, look,
Yeah.
as you could see, I was just trying to have a genuine conversation, ask a lot of good questions about your business and how how you sell. And then that's what you guys would want to do, is just ask a lot of questions about your business services and how you can sell them into
Provide
that
solution,
prospect.
yeah.
That's
And
right.
That got us, you know, because
Yeah.
you are replacing, you are standing as CBN.
Yes.
Yeah, so that represents CBN. That's really good
Yeah,
to
that
hear.
was awesome.
Yeah.
All right, thanks so much.
Thanks, guys.
Well, there you go, folks. If you liked this live video chat, please do share it. Write some comments down there, questions and that, and we'll answer them throughout the show. We still have a great lineup of
Leaders.
business leaders that are actually presenting this afternoon, and you're one of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
On at 1:30. Can't wait.
Yeah.
So we want to thank you for being on the show. Once again, we'll just go through that the details. So it's Promo Donna,
We'll put a link on it.
and we will put a link
On the
there
description.
below,
Go straight to
so that you can go straight to your page. So we want to really thank you for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much, guys. And please connect with me. And again, I'd love to hear some questions and provide some feedback.
Great. Okay, bye for now.
Bye for now. Hi guys, welcome to the show. We're going live at the Mornington Golf Club, and today we've got a special guest with us today, and he's going to share some amazing experience with us about social media, where it's going and how we can get involved, and also a bit of a storytelling about local presence is important, especially when Facebook launched a few amazing new business, new platform.
Yeah.
Yep, new market that's going to help us, the local business, develop. So, Brett, welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me. It's great.
You're welcome. And now, before we go any further, tell our viewers a bit about your background.
So, I manage a digital advertising agency and marketing agency local to the Mornington Peninsula, based in Frankston, from the Frankston Foundry co-working space. So we work with all kinds of clients, from sandblasters or bookbinders to building inspectors and marriage celebrants and all kinds of different businesses. And our core goal is really just to help those businesses become bigger through social and lots of other avenues.
Okay, now today the world is changing fast, and so is technologies. And your talk today was really, really intriguing. It really touches me and a lot of our clients, our viewers that are attending today's event. The future is going online, and we are now into social media. How important is social media play a role in businesses, especially local and nationally?
Well, one of the things that I talked about today is that more than 40% of people will go and do research online, either on Facebook or Google, or on their websites prior to buying from a business now. And that can be any type of business. So that's not just an online business. That can be a bricks and mortar type business as well. People will go online and read the reviews and see if people have left recommendations and those kind of things. And that's really, almost 50% of people use that method before buying now. And so having a strong social media presence, whether that's in Facebook or Google or Instagram or LinkedIn or wherever the case may be, is very, very important to businesses now.
Thanks so much for sharing those valuable tips and information that I think our viewers are watching, and also small to medium-sized business that are wanting to actually explore those areas, especially in the online social media. I guess in terms of my background is in TV. I produced TV show for Channel 31 for over 10 years. Started my own TV network, and in TV, content is king. So going to Facebook, YouTube, social media, and all the other platform, is content king, and how important is it in terms of for business to create that, and where can they outsource that from?
Absolutely. So I think some of the best content is when businesses tell their kind of their real story. What I like to call it is the Wizard of Oz effect, where they let people behind the curtain and see what's really going into the making of things. And as I just talked about inside, you could be a cafe and showing people how, that lunch that you love buying from there is made. Or it could be, you've got an accounting firm and you've just hired, your first staff member or another team member, doing a little live video Q&A with them and finding out, what their favourite footy team is, or what they do on weekends, or what their strengths are and why they've joined the business. I think all of those are great pieces of content, and like jokingly, I like to say, the reason that the Kardashians have hit 14 years or
Yeah,
14
yeah.
seasons is because even if it's not really behind the scenes,
Yep.
people like to feel like they're seeing what's happening behind the scenes. So I think Kim Kardashian and the whole Kardashian-Jenner family have really taught us a valuable lesson in any kind of business, which is you don't necessarily need to have a product in the beginning. You just need to tell the story of what that is.
There you go, guys, viewers. If you'd like to, have some maybe interaction, if you're watching and you have some question, maybe put your question answers, and Brad answers for you. Try to answer his best in terms of needing issues in terms of starting a business in social media and how to go about it. Okay, so the content is important. So what about in terms of posting content? I do a lot of posting, and also the type of posting and when it should be best to do it.
I think that so when is a really important question. That does depend. There's lots of different factors. One of them is knowing when your audience is most active on things like Facebook. So you can use the Insights tab on your Facebook page for your business to find that out. And you can see, the days or the times of the day that your audience is most active. You can see other things as well that are sort of key if you're going to do any sort of advertising or marketing too. So things like knowing how old the audience is, or if there's a predominantly one sex or the other bias. Those kind of things are really important to know, and Facebook's good at helping us understand that.
Thanks so much for sharing the valuable information. Now, the key thing about Facebook that's taking shape right now, that's moving forward, is you mentioned in your seminar there before that live is so good. It gives a lot of engagement, right?
Yeah.
Why live is so good now, and where is it going to be in the future for a lot of our viewers and business starting?
I think, and this isn't just me. I think I'm a product of a bigger or a wider thinking on this. Is that I don't have a connection to a free-to-air television anymore. I watch everything via...
I don't either.
Yeah, exactly. So, I think everything is digital now. My daughter and I actually had a conversation about this last night, that everything we watch is either YouTube or Netflix or, Facebook video or something like that. And I think live video is a really important part of that, because it offers something that, we enjoy so much. We go to concerts because they're live, and we go to sporting events, and we love interviews with players and athletes and entertainers when we feel like it's we've got them in the the real exciting part of the day.
Yep.
And to put that microphone in front of them and get them to hear something really quickly or insightful is a really powerful thing. And I think places like Facebook and YouTube and Twitch are doing an incredible job of helping people tell those stories live.
There you go, great tips. Okay, so in terms of where we're going now, and for the future, me and you and everyone else right now has equal opportunity, because in TV, right, you have a brand, right, and you have to stick to that channel, you have to stick to that time slot, whatever, and you understand that brand, right? You're building a brand through that TV. But now, using social media, we can build our own brand, and talking about us, talking about yourself, you're already building your brand out there. You have your own podcast, and now you're becoming a leader in the industry in social media. Tell us how important it is now, social media now, everyone can become their own brand, They just need to do that extra.
That's right. That's exactly right. And I think it is all about dedicating the time to it. I talk about inside, and it's something that I'd heard somebody else say as well, which is, that if, people look at social media a little bit too much like a one-night stand rather than a long-term relationship.
Yep.
And I think that's so true, because it's really valuable for us to invest the time and the effort to do things properly.
Yeah.
And social media is a pretty brutal example of if you're not doing things regularly, or you don't have content that's interesting or valuable for people. If you're not teaching them something, maybe, then they'll forget about you really quickly. And so it's really about that investment in people.
I have a lot of fans. I have over 55,000 fans on my Facebook page, and all of a sudden, when I went to Sydney to do a fundraising event, and people come to me and say, "Oh, great, I saw your video, blah blah blah. It's great to give you a hug," and you don't even know. until you know that, wow, you got fan. So now you have your own fans, right? You have your own followers, you have interaction with people that are interested in you. Now that's a great brand out there.
Yeah, that's right, and that's really that's a really interesting thing sometimes to to pass someone in the street, or I went to a coffee shop a little while ago, and the owner of the coffee shop came around and said, "Oh, I know you. Like I went to your workshop, at Frankston Foundry. Oh, I remember you." So it's a bit it's a bit strange, but I think it's great, especially when you're part of a community, especially when you're part of local business, and that's really valuable for the community. If a local community can build its own, authority figures, if they can build their own, kind of people that are considered, I don't know, like small celebrities or whatever the case may be, I think it's really important for that community. We don't need to look so far sometimes to find an authority. Sometimes that's really local, and I think local businesses are great at trying to identify that now and really include that in their business.
Okay, now you talk about business and talk about local. In your webinar that you talk about with our audience, you talk about Facebook launching Facebook Local. Now I know this is something that I've been looking for, and I've checked. I've downloaded the app on my iPhone, thanks to you. And how good is this for local presence, especially when you already got your own brand, you're building a community of followers and fans that wants to see you, want to hear you more, you're building your authority, you're building credibility. How important is this Facebook launching local, and why they listen to us now?
I think it's because there's a real opportunity for Facebook to get into that market that's largely kind of dominated by brands like Yelp, where people are looking for businesses and recommendations, but they don't necessarily want to adopt a new app or a new service. And I think Facebook has always been good about allowing people to leave reviews and recommendations for businesses. And I think this is just an extension of that, which will help businesses and people to connect with those businesses just a bit more. Opening the local app and being able to search for local cafes, or being able to search for events or entertainment that's in your local area is a really powerful thing in building communities. And I think Facebook have done a lot recently in kind of doubling down on that local business, local community kind of mentality. So it's exciting.
Okay, thanks for that tip. And don't forget to go to, if you want to download the Facebook Local app, just go to your app store and just search for Facebook Local and download and log in. And then, you can actually promote your business through there. Just like Google, they have their own Google Place or something, where when you search or type in your business, it will come up the map and the address, the same thing. So Facebook's on the same. Okay, so we're looking at the future, and the technology is moving and the world is changing. And now, social media is becoming a bit over, and it started to be a lot more exposure, a lot more branding, and we need to work a lot more harder now, because from what I heard with my friend Kevin Ray, who does a lot of training on social media and getting that leads in the business, he said we talk about in the future you need to have at least 7 platform presence, right? You got Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, so on, to get that credibility, to get that authority, right? So it's going to be a lot more online present. How important is that?
I think that there's a good, I think there needs to be probably a healthy balance between being everywhere and being relative to your audience. So I think, as I talked a little bit about inside, if you know that your audience is largely a younger audience, then you would go immediately to Instagram and Snapchat and maybe even Twitter a little bit now, because that's having a resurgence with the younger market. So being in that crowd, or posting more regularly to that crowd would probably benefit you. Whereas if you have an older or an older audience, that might be Facebook for you and Instagram to complement it, or if you or YouTube, exactly. Or if you're looking to do more B2B type stuff, or talk more directly to business owners and business decision makers, maybe LinkedIn is where you should be. So I think it's really about investing the time in understanding where your audience is, and then delivering content for that audience that is relevant to them, and that's how you keep them engaged.
Wow, thanks for sharing a great tip, Brad. I think it is important that we need to look at which area that you want to target first, and you want to test it out and see where your audience is. Okay, so I think the key thing right now is we are on the right track in terms of social media. I'm very active on Facebook, and because I see the potential there, the exposure, the amount of interaction, the amount of instant engagement, instantly, because the world is getting smaller on Facebook. I use that a lot. What about you? Which platform do you use most, and why? Why is it important for you and your business? It's either Facebook, LinkedIn, or YouTube.
So for me, I spend, I would say probably most of my time goes to Facebook, but I complement that with probably LinkedIn is now second, and then shortly after that would be Instagram. They're kind of the three main areas that I focus on in my business. I don't do Snapchat. I don't really do Twitter. I use it a little bit, but not very much. But mostly because I think my business is very much about what I can share and how I can help empower other business owners to make good marketing and advertising decisions. So with that, obviously, a little bit like Spider-Man, with power comes great responsibility. So it's important to to be responsible and share information that will help people, but in the right places where they'll be. That as I said before, that if I know that those people are on LinkedIn or on Facebook and they're the people that I want to help or talk to, then that's where I have to be too.
Thanks so much for sharing. That's a great tip. We have now local presence, and I think you mentioned to us about the Frankston Foundry. Now, having a business hub is a great place to share and collaborate with other small business owner, and now you also mentioned blockchain. So how important is having this sort of a business hub like Frankston Foundry to connect with everyone?
It's look, I would go back, almost 2 years ago when I first heard about Frankston Foundry, and at the time I got incredibly excited about the idea of a co-working space on the Mornington Peninsula, in particular in Frankston, mostly because typically at that time at least, you really had to go to the city or Richmond or somewhere like that to have a co-working experience. So to have something like that on the Mornington Peninsula is great. Coming forward 2 years now, seeing upwards of 30 businesses working out of the space, working together, and an interesting stat I heard the other day was that more than 80% of members have interacted together in business, so they've done business together. So I think not only is it important for the growth of local businesses, something like Frankston Foundry, but it's also important in helping businesses build skills and be able to work alongside other businesses without that politics or fear or those. Yeah, exactly. Everybody's there, like we're all trying to succeed, and so we're all willing to take a step back for 5 minutes from what we do if that helps somebody next to us improve or advance their business.
And it's only a win-win. Look, I interview Taylor Train. He's the co-founder of Lodge, spelled LODG. Hey, Taylor Train, and he's one of the co-founder of Lodge, and they're going to do that on a 24-hour basis. And it's like around the world as well, because having those business hub is the way to go for business startup and collaborating. So you're right. And now we see it's popping up locally and everywhere around that. So let's go back to finally blockchain. When I come across blockchain, Bitcoin in 2009 when I was at uni, and I heard about that when I was at 10 cents. Now it's sitting around 6,000 or so. When did you come across blockchain, Bitcoin, and is it important for the future?
I actually got exposed to Bitcoin, blockchain, crypto through Frankston Foundry. So by sitting next to one of the founders who's really into it, and so to the point where they're currently organising an event towards the end of September that will be entirely about crypto and blockchain as well. So that's an important one to, I guess, keep an eye out for on the Frankston Foundry Facebook page, is that they'll have an event coming up at the end of September. And obviously for local businesses and local investors and just people looking to learn a bit more about it, that'll be a great event as well, I think. And look, I'll certainly be going along, because I think it's just a matter of time. I think I read something this morning that the stock exchange is now acknowledging blockchain as something that they want to work with. So, you know, once that becomes a powerful thing, then that's something to really get excited about.
I got a show running now called the Blockchain Live. That's coming. We do a show and we interview startup blockchains in Melbourne and around the world. So, and they're saying that we know .com was the .com boom, and then now it's growing up to be massive, like the internet of all things. Like Google and Amazon.
Absolutely.
And now Facebook is internet. But the fourth revolution is cryptocurrency, which is digital currency. That's where we are now, and that's going to be the next phase of technology. It'll be known as the IoT, Internet of Things, where, you know, the next generation, like our kids, your kids, grandkids, will be born with it.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
they won't have paper money. Okay, so before we go, when is your next event, and how do our viewers and business that's watching this contact you? How do they want to get some coaching, some lesson from you, you know?
Yeah, of course. So I have a workshop at Frankston Foundry on the 30th of August at 6 p.m. So you can go to the Frankston Foundry Facebook page, or you can go to my website, which is bsda.com.au. And you can get tickets there. You can also go there to learn more about BSDA and what we do for our clients. And, we also offer a free 60-minute consultation. So if people want to get a tricky problem solved or get some questions answered or whatever the case may be, they just want to talk through something that they're struggling with in their own business, then we'd love the opportunity just to try and help them.
Such a great pleasure to speak to you as a leader in social media and, you know, coaching. Thanks so much again for, you know, Brad, for being on the show and, you know, putting your precious time to come and speak to us.
My pleasure.
Yeah, and we hope to speak to you again in the near future when we catch up at the Frankston Foundry, Brett.
Absolutely, that'd be great.
Okay, so don't forget, guys, I think our team members are putting a link down on the description as well. So if you didn't catch any, you can just press the link there and it'll take you straight to Brad's website and pages as well. So don't forget to come back again. We'll do another show, another interview with some of the key leaders in local and also national and international precincts as well, to get some amazing journey with them and expertise, so you can actually use that to your advantage. Thanks so much. Bye for now. See you guys. Okay. Hi everyone, we're going live. I just forgot to welcome to the show. I think we did something wrong, but that's okay. I'm gonna flip this before while we're doing live, because it's good to be unprepared. Here we go. We're now back to normal. Okay, so so I want to welcome everyone to the show. It is such an amazing journey today. We actually went through a lot of good information. We speak to some key leaders in the event today at the our Power Up Business, and what an amazing journey. And we're here to speak to a special leader in the business. Welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
It's
Now,
great to be here.
tell us a bit about your background. Sorry, your name is
Joe
Yeah,
Johnson.
Joe
Yeah.
Johnson. That's right. And tell us a bit about your background before we go any further, Joe.
Sure. So I've got a long history of digital marketing. I've been in the game for over 20 years, and before that was really in content marketing and content writing and copywriting. And I just have language has always been my thing, right from being a spelling bee champion at school and being a word nerd at university. And so I've combined all my loves and run a business now where I help small business owners to get what's in here and in here out onto the computer, and to be able to speak their truth through their marketing and to use their own language so that they're not copycatting anybody else and so that they sound like themselves.
Yeah, I think original content is the best.
Yes.
So in terms of telling a story in any business, in any, in anything in life, how important is it with telling a story, and how can it be, capture that, attention and to everyone else?
Sure. Look, I think it's incredibly important to be telling stories as much as you can through your marketing. And the reason for that is because they're yours. They're completely unique. You're not going to be copying anybody else's. And so, and they're going to be told in your language. So, you know, there's a dozen marketing consultants, there's a dozen copywriters just around the corner, but they don't have my experience. They don't have my story, and they don't have my value set that I bring to my business. So there are going to be clients who like working with me because of the values that I have and the way that I do business, and there's going to be others who like working with Mary Smith down the road, and that's fine. So by telling stories, you allow people into your world, you allow them to understand what matters to you, how you do business, what's important, and by telling those stories, they're either going to opt in to your world or they're going to opt out, and that's cool. So either way, you divide the market, which is awesome because you can't help everybody, and you get people to understand who you are and why you do business and how you do business.
I'll tell you a story.
Yeah, go for it.
So when I was young, I remember my mum's holding my hand and we had to run across to a refugee camp,
Right.
across to the Thailand border.
Yeah.
And on the ground is flying bullets. There's dead people everywhere, blood everywhere, and on top of my head is flying bullets. So this is when I was about 5 years old.
Wow.
So we
Yeah.
made to the refugee camp, and now we're here in Australia. So to me, being here, I'm so lucky.
Yeah.
And you know,
Absolutely.
yeah, at that time I didn't know,
No.
right, that I wasn't scared or frightened because you're at that age.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people need to understand that, you know, you are very lucky right here living in Australia.
Yes.
Especially in Melbourne, we are the most livable city in the world.
Absolutely.
How's that story?
That's an amazing story. That's great. But you know what? We're going to remember you for that because
Yeah.
you're not just any old guy behind a camera, right?
Right.
You're going to be that guy who
Right.
ran to the refugee camp. And that's important because I told a story today about when I was travelling and when I was a whole lot younger.
Yep.
And I was backpacking living in London and I wanted to do this big road trip. And part of it was finding a travel partner. Everybody else thought I was nuts. And so I put an ad in this magazine to say, hey, come and do this
Hey.
really cool road trip from London to Beijing, like seriously all overland. And
I'm in.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was really fun. And this crazy Irishman, he answered the ad and we got along really well. And as you do, you chat over a beer and you figure it out whether it's going to work or not. And it was great. It was the most amazing travel partner and the most incredible journey. But, you know, you've got to be able to tell that stuff so that people remember you. Because if I got up today and did a whole bunch of, you know, you do this first and you write your headline this way and you do your captions that way, they're just going to zone out. It's boring. Whereas I guarantee you they'll probably remember that story. And by virtue of remembering the story, they'll kind of remember content marketing, right? They'll think about storytelling next time that they put together their content.
Sounds great, amazing. So great tips as well. Thanks so much, Joe. And I remember you by that story, you know, because you mentioned that, and it clicks for me. So, what about the businesses and our viewers out there that want to tell a story? Is it important to have long story or short story, or is it both?
Oh, look, it depends what medium you're using. So definitely something like, you know, on Instagram, if you're doing stories, you've got like 10 seconds, right? So make it short and make it snappy.
Yeah.
You can do stories in different formats. If you want to do a video, you can do a few minutes of video and pop that on Facebook.
Video, yep.
Video's great. If you're telling a story in written form, you can write a 1,000-word blog and tell the most incredible story. And if that's going out to your subscribers, they're already an engaged audience. They already want to hear from you. So they will read that length of story. If you're trying to attract new people who are on Facebook or Instagram, you might only have a couple of sentences and you've got to get really good at telling a story in a couple of sentences.
Great
so
tips.
it depends on the marketing medium.
There you go, great tips. So make sure that you use content and make sure you decided to work out which types of platform that you're using for which types of content and how long you can use it for.
That's right.
You know, to get that attention. Okay, so I started a TV network called CBN for 10 years.
Okay.
And content is king for us.
Yeah.
So how important is it? I mean, you mentioned the content in video is good.
Yes.
And also you mentioned that you can actually tell a story on any platform. You mentioned text.
Yeah.
How important is that? How good is that? 160, right?
Yeah,
Characters.
yeah. You
Yeah.
do still have to be able to tell a story on Twitter. Like in one sentence.
One
You've got to be
sentence.
able to capture the essence.
Wow.
And a story really needs like a character and a place, and it needs some action and it needs a result.
Right.
That's what makes an effective story, that sort of beginning, middle and end. So you've got to get really good at it to do it on Twitter, but it's possible. And then on something like Instagram or Facebook, you've probably got a couple of sentences. But Twitter, it's a real art to get it down to that amount of characters.
Okay, guys. So we're running out of time. But if you want to get some more coaching and some more experience, and get some more information into storytelling, you can actually contact Jo. So how do our viewers and a lot of our business that are going to see this video contact you?
Sure, thank you. They can contact me via my website. That's probably the easiest. It's just thecontentcoach.com.au, or I'm on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn as The Content Coach and Jo Johnson.
And look behind us, guys. Woohoo! Great banner, great design. I like this typewriter, right?
Because I love vintage things.
Yeah.
I love old school legacy and history. So
oh my God, it touches my heart, right?
That's great.
Okay, so you run your own event when you plan to run your own event. When is that?
So I'm running. I run events throughout the year. I run workshops. I've got an 8-week program that starts on Tuesday. That's this Tuesday, the 21st, and it's a fundamentals program for business owners who really want to get a handle on their content marketing. We talk about your voice and your story, and then how to get that out across all the different marketing channels.
Okay, so don't forget to join and find out a bit more about the event that Jo's running.
Yep.
I think our team members gonna put a subscription or description below on the video as well, so you can actually click on it if you couldn't find us. Okay, so any last tip before we go? Like maybe a few tips for our viewers before we go?
Just be yourself. Absolutely be yourself, because everybody else is taken.
Yes. Fantastic. Look, we would love to you to come back to our show next time, and maybe learn a bit more. I think so much more that we can learn. You've got so much experience,
Thank you.
Also we really learned a lot today, and just want to say thank you.
Thank you. It's been great to be here. Thanks, guys.
Okay, thanks, our viewers. So make sure you don't forget to subscribe and like, and also recommend as well. I recommend Jo's business as well to get involved in doing a course and actually learn a bit more about storytelling, how important it is for your business. All right, in the meantime, bye for now.
Bye.